Hi there, welcome back to the channel. My name is Fred Macedo. I'm sorry I have no image for my mother's notebook. I don't know what happened, but let's get started. Before we start, I'm gonna ask Rosangela to make our initial prayer. Please, Rosangela.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
Thank you. Now I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, we're gonna read a random part of the Gospel according to Spiritism. Much will be asked of him who has received much. The servant who knew his master's will, but who nevertheless has neither prepared himself nor done what was expected of him, will be harshly punished. But he who did not know his master's will, but who has done things worthy of punishment, will be punished less. Much will be asked of him who has received much, and a greater accounting will be required from those whom many things have been entrusted. I have come into this world to exercise judgment, so that those who do not see may see, and those who do not see may become blind. Upon hearing these words, certain Pharisees who were with him said to him, "Then are we also blind?" Jesus answered them, "If you were blind, you would not have sinned. But you now say that you see, that is why sin remains in you." These maxims find their application especially in the Spirit's teaching. All those who know the precepts of Christ are surely blameworthy if they do not practice them. But besides the fact that the gospel that contains them has spread only in the Christian denominations, how many persons there are amongst them who do not read it, and of those who read it, how many there are who do not understand it? The result is that Jesus' own words have been lost to the majority. The Spiritist teaching, which reproduced these maxims under different forms and develop and comment on them in order to put them within everyone's reach, have the particularity of not being at all circumscribed, and everyone, literate or illiterate, believing or disbelieving, Christian or not, can receive them because spirits communicate everywhere. None who receive them, either directly or through an intermediary, can claim ignorance of them. They cannot offer as an excuse either their lack of instruction or the obscurity of the teaching's allegorical meaning. Thus, those who do not take advantage of the teachings for their advancement, who admire them as being interesting and curious without their hearts being touched by them, who are not less vain, less proud, less selfish, no less attached to material possessions, and who are not better toward their neighbor, are all the more guilty because they have a greater means of knowing about the truth. Mediums who receive good communications are even more blameworthy for persisting in wrongdoing, for they often write their own condemnation, and if they were not so blinded by pride, they would realize that the spirits are addressing them. However, Instead of applying to themselves the lessons they write or those they see written, their sole thought is to apply them to others, thereby confirming these words of Jesus. You see a speck in your neighbor's eye, but you do not see the log in your own. Through these words, if you are blind, you would not have seen. Jesus meant that blameworthiness is proportional to one's enlightenment. Thus, the Pharisees, who had the intention of being and actually were the most enlightened individuals of their people, were more reprehensible in God's eye than the unlearned people. The same applies today. Therefore, much will be asked of Spiritists, because they have received much, but also to those who have taken advantage of the teachings, much will be given. The first thought of all sincere Spiritists should be to find out if in the Spirit's counsels there is something that might concern them. Spiritism has multiplied the number of those who are called, because of the faith it provides. It also multiplies the number of those who are chosen. Just a moment. Okay. What can we say about these teachings? If we have more information about the gospel, about the Jesus teachings, we are more accountable, meaning that we cannot claim to be ignorant. We cannot claim that we didn't know this. Spiritism is based on the law of reincarnation. This isn't our first life. We have several lives before this one, and we will have many more in the future, because we were created simple and ignorant as men in the caves, and we will progress to archangels. So we start as atoms, and we will go on beyond archangels. That's why, because Christ said to us, all of you can do what I have done and more, meaning that our progress scale is we cannot measure in time, because always will be progress to be done. That's why we have all these moral teachings. They are simple, but yet difficult to apply, because we are not as forgiven as we want to be. We are not as charitable as we want to be. And that's why we have several lives. It would be impossible to get everything right in just one life. That's why we have to make efforts to be a little better today than we were yesterday, and so on. That's our purpose in life. That's our main reason to live. So everything that is material is just a means to an end. It can be our primary goal. Our primary goal is to evolve morally, because we will suffer less in the future. So I invite you to know more about the Spiritism. I invite you to stick around in our channel, subscribe, to to sorry, sometimes the words just doesn't get along with me. To watch more, to learn more. Thank you all, my friend. And I'm gonna ask my dear friend Rosangela to make our initial prayer. Please, Rosangela.
We thank the good spirits who have come to communicate with us and asking to help us put into practice destruction. They gave They have given us, we also hope they will ensure that each unfold as at the end of the session is fortified in the practice of the good and love for our neighbor. We also wish these lessons may be useful for the suffering, ignorant, or vicious spirits who may be able to attend this meeting and for whom we implore the mercy of the good. Bless you all.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you, my friends.